No.
Hey, we welcome our next guest once before, a little more than a year ago. She talks a lot more than Mary does, I'll tell you that, and she certainly left an impression with us.
Not just with us, but you. She's so popular. Back in Omaha with 4 performances at the Holland. Her shows are kind of hard for us to explain.
Yeah, we'll let Dixie do it. Dixie Longate, that is.
Hi, Dixie.
It was about a year ago. Good to see you.
Ain't that funny? And then they called me and they're like, what are you doing? I said, you know, drinking. And they're like, would you want to come back? I said, oh, I come back. And so I'm going to be at the Holland Center for just these 4 shows Thursday through Sunday. I have the best time.
It's just so funny because it's such a classy venue, and then you roll up into town singing and doing just about.
What are you talking about?
Dixie will say and do anything.
Nothing but class. Nothing but class. I roll out from under the dumpster and I'm like, let's hit the ground running. Got stuff to do. So no, but everything's good. You know what? It's not, this is the end of my 8th season on the road.
Wow.
8 years.
Unbelievable.
Lord. My kids have grown up and they're still so sticky. I don't know how, but I go see them, you know, at the trailer mobile, and I was like, "What's going on?" And they're like, "Mommy, you won't come home." I'm like, "Not till you get a job." So you know, because they just kind of
they're
do
expensive.
something. Kids are sticky and expensive, and stop having them. We just don't need them, you know. But no, but I'm so happy to be back at the Holland Center, and everybody's been so nice.
You brought in your Tupperware.
Well,
this is a Tupperware party kind of.
It is a Tupperware party. There's games and prizes and raffles. I do things that get people up, and the people in Omaha are so much fun because you know they come and they played, and when I was here last time, I had people that would come to see the show and had so much fun in it that they bought tickets for like the next day and brought their friends.
Is there a bigger compliment in the world?
There's nothing but, well, there's that one compliment, but that's for the dog with the peanut butter in your leg. That's a different thing. We can't do that at the show, at the program.
No.
What's new in the Tupperware world?
Oh, there's you know what, there's always something new. Because Tupperware sort of, you know, there's the classic stuff, which is my favorite stuff, obviously, that my grandmama had, and she was such a drinker. So, and then there's the, because of all the new chef shows and the cooking shows and stuff they do, they've gotten a lot of food prep stuff now that's very exciting and interesting. Sometimes you go to a Tupperware.
That's not Tupperware.
Yes,
Tupperware.
that is Tupperware.
That's
Everybody
Tupperware?
thinks that it's not, and it's Tupperware. This is Tupperware, and it's amazing because when you're drinking and you're like, hey, should I drive? And if you can't get all the whole.
What's your favorite thing to drink? Because you've mentioned that a few times.
You know, anything that Jesus makes. He makes the water into wine in that Bible part. That's my favorite story in the Bible. I read, I participate, and I black out, and so I got to read it again. I just keep reading it. It's so good. I love it. You never know how it ends because I don't get to the end. But it's just anything. You know, I like wine. I love margaritas because you know, because of Christmas or just anything. I'm easy like that. What do you like to drink?
Margaritas and wine.
Man, now don't drink them together.
No.
It's just it ends badly. It'll
this is an adult show. I mean, you want to bring the kids? No,
don't bring the kids. Leave them at home. Tether to the front door. Throw a Hungry Man frozen dinner out for them. The sun with this gorgeous weather. The sun's gonna heat it up.
Please don't tie your children to things.
Oh, there's so
Dixie, you give some good advice, but I don't know that that's your best.
Chase the squirrels. Oh, it's the cutest thing you've ever seen. And they'll get in a fight sometimes. My son always loses. But I place
How many
bets on
kids
him.
do you have?
3.
3.
You want one? I'll give you. They're potty trained. I got a 3-year-old, a 10-year-old, and a 16-year-old. Dwayne, Winona, and Absorbing Jr. He's no good. He's cuter. Cuter than a button. And I just love him to pieces. But
are they into Tupperware? Do they have little Tupperware toys?
You know, it's funny. My oldest, Winona, she's 16, and she works at the Hooters. I said, if everybody was, do you want to come and follow in your mama's footsteps? I'm like, you can do whatever you want. If you want to sell Tupperware, you can. Just make sure you get a job. She works in the back with the manager, whatever. I don't know what she does, but she don't work with the chicken fingers. And but we have, so, you know, I come home and I have so much Tupperware in my trailer, and we always use it. And I was like, are you someday going to sell Tupperware? She's like, I don't know, Mama. First, I got to learn how to drink the way you do. I said, get on the tractor. If you can drive in a straight line.
She's 16. She's got a few years
She's got a few years. Shouldn't been
work
drinking.
on it. How did you get into Tupperware? Was there an event in your life,
well,
Dixie?
I was in prison, and my parole officer, she said, I need a job in order to get my kids back. And I was like, do I have to? They make you take them back.
Winona needs a mama.
Well, apparently, according to the law. And yeah, so she said, why don't you try selling Tupperware? I didn't know Tupperware still even existed. And I did my first party. I had so much fun, and and I made some money, and I was like, I could do this. And then it just grew and grew and grew. And then a friend of mine said, who's a director, said, you should take this on stage. You put it together. So we did. I took it to New York. It got a lot of attention in New York, which was so funny. And then it just exploded, and it went off Broadway. And then the tour started in 2008. I've been touring since 2008.
Does Tupperware appreciate all your
They're
efforts?
amazing, and you know what?
drinking in your jail?
Well, you know, if they didn't want me drinking, they wouldn't have made tumblers. I was
this your
just
glass?
in.
This is your
this
glass?
is the
Single
glass.
serve?
Aren't you so sweet? You can fit a whole portion size in there. You know? And see, right after my own heart. This one. But I was just in Orlando, and Orlando is where Tupperware headquarters is. It's my first time getting to perform there, and all these people from corporate came in. They were so supportive and lovely. It's just been a great journey.
Are there tickets available for all the shows?
Yeah, you can get still. It's limited tickets available for all the shows. So it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then a matinee on Sunday. And then with the weather being so good, you can go out during the day, and then you can come and see the program at night. Or Sunday, you can go to church and then say, "I need to get on my knees again."
Go to church.
You know, and then go in.
It's a little bit different than last year. So if our viewers saw you last
You know what?
year,
This is the nice thing, but every show's a little bit different because every show there's always participation, and people are going to get up and help me with the demos and everything. So it's going to be different every year.
And again, contains strong adult content.
That's right.
Strong.
No, Dixie,
Takes a
great
lot
to
of
see
pride
you.
in that.
You know what, Hooker, you make me smile. It's always good to see you.
here
You're
for
pretty as the picture, and you stop leaving
Was
your
he
belt
the
at the
hooker?
trailer. He was this one, just sweeter than poop on a stick.
Thanks, Dixie.
Love him to pieces.
Dixie,
Thanks,
you're good
Dixie.
stuff.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
all right, let's talk about our website. Today is June 1st.